Well, to get a sense of the dangers and the challenges of going in there as rescuers, let's connect with our next guest, who's one of the only divers in the world who have conducted multiple successful underwater cave rescues. Edd Sorenson joins us now, regional coordinator at the International Underwater Cave Rescue and Recovery, has decades of cave diving experience. Let me start with this. 2 weeks since the two men that are still missing were trapped in the cave, is there any way for us to assess how likely it is that they'll be rescued?
It's really tough. The last group had some ideal circumstances where they had a pretty good sized air pocket. Plus, it was open to the outside. There was bats in there, so that means there's fresh air. So that really played a huge part in them surviving the way they did. The biggest drawback for any of these people is lack of water. They're surrounded by water, but nothing to drink. Drinking that muddy water can be very dangerous to your health. So they've been without food almost 2 weeks. The only thing we can hope is that they found a similar air pocket.
Deep inside this cave system, we were just looking at some video that one of the rescuers took of this tiny little opening. I just can't imagine that anyone would go through there, much less a rescuer, knowing that on the other side there might be people who couldn't survive because it's so dangerous. You've gone into situations like that. Tell me what some of the challenges are.
Well, that would take us all day. But anytime you're searching especially in the water, it's all rain runoff, so it's all muddy water. So it's zero visibility. The biggest drawback is when I did the one in the Dominican Republic, you have to have a guideline. So I'm running a reel with one hand and I'm searching with the other hand because you have zero visibility. So anything that's further than the reach of your arm is not there. So it makes searching very difficult. If you've got a really small passage, of course, there's not a whole lot to search. You're going to probably run right into, if they're deceased, into the body. If it pops up into an air pocket and they survive, then it's only because they like the other air pocket, it had fresh air. But other than that, there's so many hazards. Especially when you're at a steep down angle in the water where you're pushing a tank ahead of you, like in the instance where they had the only 23 inches wide. So you've got to push the tank in front of you, and that makes it even more difficult to try and search and push a tank and everything else you need to do. So it depends on if it's completely water filled. If it's completely water filled, it's going to be very challenging for them.
There have been reports that knocking was heard by rescuers, but then rescuers said, no, listen, let's not exaggerate those reports. It could have been anything. You've probably been in situations like that. What does all of that tell you about this rescue?
Well, through solid earth, unless they're very close, it's doubtful. If there's air-filled passages and they had something to bang on, metallic objects or something like that, any time that we get called out, I've been called out for body recoveries, I always assume it's a rescue. We always treat it like it's a rescue. You never want to give up hope that we can get these people out alive. So they've got some great rescue divers and recovery divers there on site. Hopefully they're utilizing their sources. The best source of information is going to be the surviving miners. Were they all together at the start? Did 5 of them leave the other 2? Did the other 2 decide to go a different way? I mean, the only people that know are those 5 survivors. So hopefully, being the great recovery divers and rescue divers that they have there, I'm sure they're utilizing those resources.
Takes a special quality of person to take on this rescue and recovery mission. And I feel like it's probably a community of people around the world who know each other very well. You're part of it. What motivates you?
Not being right in the head, I think, is the biggest motivation. it takes a special kind of person. This is not everybody's cut out to do this. I've had people that wanted to assist, and when they saw the body, they panicked, bolted, and they no longer dive anymore. So this is, you have to look at it as a job. You have to want to help people. That's my biggest asset. Is my dad taught me at a very, very early age, 6 decades ago, that you always help your fellow man if it's at all possible. So that's what motivated me. And he was actually in Mariana for one of my rescues. He was in visiting when one of them occurred. So he was very, very proud of me that day.
Well, it is unfortunately often a recovery mission, but nothing would be better than finding those last 2 missing people alive. Let's hope for that. Edd Sorenson is a regional coordinator at International Underwater Cave Rescue and Recovery. Thanks for speaking with us.
Thanks for having me.